a time most people deeply resent, and reframing it as productive personal growth time.
Hold on, though. I hear what you're saying about personal growth, but is she really doing herself a favor?
What do you mean? We treat dead time like it's a sin in modern society.
Yeah.
We feel this intense pressure to maximize every single minute.
That's true.
But maybe Paul's version of dead time, just staring out a bus window or walking away from his desk to heat up a lazy pizza, is actually necessary.
Just letting the brain rest.
Right. Are we maximizing the middle, or are we just terrified of letting our brains actually rest?
That is a fair pushback. But let's look at the mechanism of what Emily is doing.
Okay.
It's not just about cramming more information into her head. It's about agency.
Agency.
When you are on a bus, you are physically trapped in someone else's schedule. You are a passive victim of the route.
That's a bleak way to put it, but yeah.
By choosing to read a book or listen to a podcast, Emily reclaims ownership of that time. Reframing dead time shifts the brain from feeling like a captive to feeling like an architect.
Oh, I like that. Captive to architect.
It's a defining strategy for lifelong learners, not because of the data they consume, but because of the autonomy it preserves.
Okay, I can see the value in reclaiming your autonomy. But even if you upgrade your mind and reclaim your agency on the commute, you still have to deal with other human beings when you arrive.
The social aspect.
And this brings up one of the most compelling and frankly convicting insights from the entire source text.
It really is.
It's about how we answer the most common question in the world. How was your day?
The text warns against something they call the fine trap.
Yes, the fine trap. Think about your own life for a second. Someone asks you, how was your day? Or how was work? And you just say, it was fine. I just worked.
We all do it.
It is an absolute reflex. It's like conversational quicksand.
Quicksand, yes.
The moment you say it was fine,
Yeah.
you're instantly killing any potential connection.
Yeah.
You're dragging the interaction down into the mud where nothing can grow.
To understand why we do this, we have to look at cognitive load.
Okay.
Fine provides zero data. It is a closed loop. By the time we are at work or coming home from work, our brains are tired.
It's so tired.
We rely on pre-programmed scripts. You know, how are you? Fine, you, fine.
Right, it's automatic.
It's automatic to save energy. It acts as a verbal shield we throw up to protect our remaining mental resources.
Wow.
The tragedy is that the cost of saving that energy is profound social isolation.
So what's the solution? How do we escape the quicksand?
The text offers a brilliant, simple fix. You just add one small detail.
Instead of just saying, fine, you break the script.
Exactly. You say, it was good, I finished a big project. Or, it was busy, I had 4 meetings.
It's such a tiny shift. But think about the psychology of it. By dropping in that one specific detail, 4 meetings, big project, you are giving the other person a hook.
A conversational hook.
You're throwing them a rope out of the quicksand. Now they can grab and say, oh, wow, 4 meetings. What were they about?
Right.
You've just turned a mindless robotic transaction into an actual human conversation.
But adding that one detail requires a tiny bit more vulnerability.
It does.
You are offering up a piece of your actual reality to another person. It uses slightly more cognitive energy than the automated script, but the return on investment is genuine connection.
But throwing that conversational rope to someone else takes energy.
Yeah.
And by the time we finished our day and commute home, our cognitive load is completely maxed out. We have to shed that tension.
We definitely do.
Which brings us to the final phase of the day, the evening routine.
The art of unwinding.
I love how they describe this in the source, because Paul actually asks Emily what the word unwind means in this context.
It is a wonderful visual definition.
Yeah.
Emily tells him to think of himself as a tight spring.
A spring.
Throughout the day, work, stress, the commute, the routines, they wind that spring tighter and tighter. Unwinding is the deliberate, conscious act of letting that built-up tension go.
How they choose to let that tension go couldn't be more different.
Night and day.
Let's look at Paul's unwinding method first. He watches a show on Netflix or plays video games for an hour. He cooks dinner, and he tries to go to sleep at midnight.
Tries to.
Right, but he admits he sometimes stays up until 1:00 a.m. watching funny cat videos on his phone. The classic habit of scrolling.
Which is a very common digital pacifier.
Now, Emily's approach is practically monastic in comparison.
It really is.
She dims the lights, she turns off her computer, she reads a physical book. Her strict rule is no screens.
No screens at all.
And because of this immaculate sleep hygiene, she sleeps soundly at 10:30 p.m. every night.
It is the ideal, scientifically backed playbook for circadian rhythm management.
It is perfect on paper.
Yeah.
But I have to challenge this because I really sympathize with Paul here.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Emily's no screens rule sounds great, but is it actually realistic for the modern worker to just drop the digital world cold turkey at 9 p.m.?
It's tough.
When you look at Paul scrolling until 1 a.m., watching cat videos, I mean, I don't think that's just a bad habit. I think it's a natural, modern coping mechanism.
Okay, expand on that.
Think about an employee who feels underpaid and overworked, so they steal printer paper from the office supply closet. They're just trying to take something back. When your entire daylight existence is dictated by strict routines and employer demands, staring at a screen in the dark is stealing back your own time.
Wow.
It's the only moment of the day you aren't performing for anyone.
That is a very empathetic reading of Paul's behavior.
You think so?
Yeah, you are describing a rebellion against a lack of control. Emily's routine of dimming lights and reading physical books requires immense discipline.
So much
It
discipline.
requires energy to execute that transition. Paul's routine of scrolling is a collapse into passivity, which requires zero energy.
Right, zero.
He is stealing back time, yes, but he is doing it in a way that ultimately leaves him exhausted the next day, restarting the cycle of the sleepy bee and the snooze button.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, it brings the entire source text into incredible focus.
How so?
In the final learning corner of their show, Emily and Paul do a quick vocabulary review of 5 key terms from the lesson. Wake up, get out of bed, commute, unwind, usually.
Okay, those 5.
On the surface, it's just a summary for English beginners. But philosophically,
Yeah.
those 5 concepts map out the entire human daily experience.
Wait, I get the first 4. Waking, getting up, commuting, unwinding.
Yeah.
But how does the word usually fit into a philosophical map of the human experience? Break that down for me.
Think about the underlying mechanisms of each word.
Okay?
Wake up is initiation. The literal spark of consciousness.
Right.
Get out of bed is action. The physical commitment to entering the world. Commute is transition. Moving between the different roles we play, from our private self to our public self.
Makes sense.
Unwind is release. Shedding the armor and letting that tight spring go.
And usually.
And usually, that is repetition. It is the heavy realization that we have to wake up and do the exact same sequence all over again tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Initiation, action, transition, release, and repetition. That isn't just a vocabulary list. That is the rhythm of a human life.
That is incredible. From a simple language transcript about travel mugs and bus rides to the rhythm of human existence.
It's all connected.
Which brings us to the end of our deep dive today. In the source material, Emily and Paul leave their listeners with a homework challenge, and we're going to pass that challenge directly on to you.
They asked their audience to try writing just 3 sentences about their own routine, using the sequencing words first, then, and finally.
And Paul gives this great reminder before they sign off. He says, communication is more important than being perfect.
I love that.
It's not about having flawless grammar, and it's certainly not about having the perfect, rigid 6.0 a.m. no-screen routine. It's about being able to share your reality with someone else.
It is about throwing that rope and escaping the fine trap.
Exactly. So what does this all mean for us? We've looked at the liminal purgatory of the snooze button, the massive fragility exposed by the coffee lid principle.
The conversational quicksand of small talk?
Right. And the desperate release of the unwound spring.
I think the most vital takeaway here isn't explicitly stated in the text, but it builds directly upon everything Emily and Paul discussed.
What is it?
We spend so much of our energy trying to master our daily routines. We want to be productive, efficient, and optimized.
We do.
We all want to be the morning bird who exercises, maximizes our commute, and reads physical books by dim light.
We want to build that indestructible pyramid we talked about at the beginning.
But if we are constantly relying on these zero-slack structures, these flawless schedules, and these pre-planned conversational scripts to get us through the day,
Yeah.
at what point do we stop living our lives and start letting our routines live us?
If the routine is running on autopilot, who is actually at the wheel?
Exactly. So tomorrow morning, next time you hear that alarm and you reach over to hit that snooze button, ask yourself something.
Ask yourself what?
Are you just delaying your routine because you are tired? Or deep down, are you just trying to steal back a few minutes of unscripted freedom before the rigid gears of the day pull you in?
Are you a captive to the sequence, or are you the architect? That is going to sit with me for a long time.
Same.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the structure of your days, throw someone a rope to escape the fine trap, and most importantly, keep learning.